All right, fifth grade, we are ready for math on Wednesday, March 25th. And we have our math page out. That is page 257. And at the top it says, math is fun. And so that's the page we're going to be looking at today. A lot of this is review. You can see that this whole page is word problems. So they want you to apply perimeter and area in the different circumstances. And really, we think of word problems as something that's like a different type of math, but isn't word problems life? If you're going to experience math in life, which you're going to, it's going to be in word problem form. I go to the store and I want this much and I have this much and there's this much of a discount. It's a word problem. So don't think of it as, well, this is math and this is a different kind of math that I don't like and I'm not good at. It doesn't work that way, because in real life, you're not going to go out and see the math problem written on the shelf. We think in word problems because word problems are life. And so they want you to be able to, this is real life application, okay? And it shows you how we use perimeter and area every day, or at least regularly. Okay, so we have to figure out when we're going to use perimeter and when we're going to use area and what those things mean. So we are going to use perimeter when it asks for what? Right? The distance around an object. And then when we're asked for perimeter, what are we going to do? We are going to add all the sides, right? Not add all the side, add all the sides. Now, we know we need to find, first of all, what is area? Area is the distance within an object, right? Or a certain area that we're talking about. And when we're asked to find the area, we will do what? Multiply length times width. Okay, we're going to take the two sides and we're going to multiply length times width. If we have a little odd shape, we're going to take the two pieces that we can break it up into and we're going to add them together. Okay, let's look at this. Now, the way we're going to do this is I'm going to read them and we're going to read them together and we're going to figure out together what we need to find, but then I'm going to let you find it. Oh, let's go back. I want to remind you of one more thing. When we find area, what is it important that we put in the answer? We need units squared, which means that, let me get my little pen, that we're going to write, let's say if the answer is 3, we're going to write the little 2 at the top, right? So actually, that's incorrect. We want units squared. So we would write inches, and then we would put the little squared at the top. Okay, so that's area. Do we need that for perimeter? Nope. Only area. Okay, now let's look. So for number 1, Mrs. Hill's classroom bulletin board is 10 feet long and 3 feet tall. How much border will she need to go all the way around the board? Okay, she is wanting border to go around the board. So our keyword there is around. We don't want to fill in anything. We want to go around. So what are we finding? I think you know already. You've probably already got it answered. We're finding the perimeter. And because we're finding the perimeter, we are not multiplying those two numbers. It would be very tempted to go, oh, 10 times 3, 30. Nope. We're finding perimeter, which means we need all the sides. They only give you 2. But what do you know? It's a rectangle. So if you've got 10 here, then that means that on the top, that's 10. So for the perimeter, we are going to add 10 plus 10 plus 3 plus 3, right? And that will give you the distance around the board. So that's what you need for number 1. I am not going to work that out for you. You are smart enough that you can do that on your own. Now, number 2, the softball league wants to enclose the softball field with a fence. The dimensions of the field are 250 feet long and 250 feet wide. How many feet of fencing is needed? Be careful. Just because they give you length and width does not mean you need to multiply them, and they want to know fencing. Fencing goes around. So, again, I know that I am going to be finding perimeter. And how? If it's 250 feet long and 250 feet wide, that means that all the sides are the same. So really, I can add 250, 250, 250, 250, or I can do 250 times 4, right? You're with me, aren't you? Okay. Now, number 3 says the distance between bases on the softball field is 65 feet. How far will Alyssa run if she hits a home run and runs around all the bases? Okay, so we have this picture here of the bases, and between each one, there's 65 feet. So she's going to run from home to first, first to second, second to third, third to fourth. So how many 65s is she going to run? 4. So we need 65 times 4. And again, you're smart enough to do that math. You do not need me to do that for you. So I will let you do that on your own. Number 4, Mr. Franklin is putting molding around the living room window. The window measures 3 feet by 5 feet. How many feet of molding will be put around the window? Again, this is around. So if I'm doing around, it is going to be, you probably guessed it, it is going to be perimeter. Okay, so I need to find all those sides. 5 and 5, let's just go ahead and add those in our head. 5 and 5 is 10, and then I'm going to have 2 3s. Oops, keep pressing the wrong button. 2 3s is 6, and I'm going to add that, put the answer there right now because I know you know it, and that's how many feet you're going to need. Okay, now on the back, you are dealing with this picture of somebody's yard. So they have a backyard, a front yard, a driveway, a garage, a house, and there's the road out in front. And so they're going to be asking us different questions to know what to do with this little map. So let's see number 5. Dr. Chynn is going to reseed his backyard. What is the area? They even tell you there, don't they? What is the area that he needs to cover? So, backyard. Look at the 2 numbers that we see. Pretty simple. It's a big rectangle. So we have 70 times 90 equals. Remember, your answer is going to be, because this is area, is going to be in feet squared. That's number 5. Number 6. A 10-pound bag of grass seed will cover approximately 250 square feet. How many square feet will 25 bags cover? Okay, so we know how much one bag covers, so that's 250. We want to know how much 25 of those will cover. So we're going to do 250 times 25, right? And that's going to give us how much that they'll cover. Will 25 bags be enough to seed Dr. Chynn's lawn? So you have 2 parts, and they go along with question number 5. You've already figured out this, okay? This will tell you how much this will cover, And so you're going to tell me if 25 bags, if this much is going to be enough to cover what you found out you needed in number 5. Both of those problems go together. Number 7, each bag of grass seed costs $14.53. How much did Dr. Chynn spend on grass seed? Hint, he bought enough bags to seed all of his lawn. So this kind of goes back to what we did before too. We're going to need to know if 25 was enough, then we're figuring out the cost for 25. If it was not enough or it was too much, we're going to figure out how many bags and we're going to multiply that times $14.53. Don't forget your decimal and the $sign in the answer, because this answer will be money, right? Number 8, Dr. Chynn hired a cement contractor to pour a new driveway. What is the area of the driveway? Okay, the driveway is pretty simple there. So we've got a driveway there that is 80 feet by 12 feet. And you're going to figure that out because you are smart. Number 9, what is the perimeter of the front yard? Now, let's be careful here, okay? Because the front yard has this little jutty out part. We're not doing area, we're only doing perimeter, but we need to make sure that we add every single side. So I'm going to start with the side by the driveway. So let's put this in our list. We are going to add 80 plus, because we're doing perimeter. Okay, now let's go alongside the road. 58 plus. Now, along the other side, I'm turning and I see 110 plus. Don't forget that little 10 there. There's a little 10 plus. And then look at the part along the house. They give it to you, but it's on the other side. Still count it. Okay, so that little part that we don't want to make sure we forget is 30. And then we're going to turn alongside the house and get that 48 there. Okay, those are all of your numbers. And you're going to add those all up to find the perimeter of the front yard. Are you going to need a squared? Nope, because it's perimeter. 10. This one got me earlier today. I was looking at this and my answer kept coming up wrong. I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I am doing something wrong. And then I figured out we have to be careful of measurements. Okay, so let me read it to you first. How many begonias will Mrs. Chynn purchase if she plants a row of begonias 8 inches apart in the front yard along the street? So here's what I was doing. Okay, front yard along the street, that's this one right here. Okay, so 58 feet. She wants to plant them 8 inches apart. Fine. So let's divide by 8. And so I divided that by 8, and I didn't get anywhere what the book was saying my answer should be. I was like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Not only is this wrong, it's majorly wrong. And then, guess what I figured out? She wants to plant them 8 inches apart, and look at what this measurement is in. Feet. So I need to change that 58 feet into inches. How am I going to do that? 58 times 12, right? So once I have that number, then I take that answer and I'm going to divide it. This is the division symbol. You can do a slash line like this on your computer. Then I'm going to divide that answer by 8. And then that will tell me how many that she will need to plant. Okay, I've talked you through the whole thing, and I'm sure you're probably done by now, especially if you paused me to make sure you had everything. The next page in your book is page 259, and it is this review page. Sometimes we do a little bit of these each day. What I want you to do today is to go back and do A and B. A and B. And these are just reviewing. Look at both sides on A and compare the sides and see what's bigger, what's smaller, if they're equal, and then go on to B and find different ways to represent each of those numbers. You're doing great. I know this is different. I know in some ways it's harder, in some ways it's easier. Please take your time, do your work well, and I will be looking for your comment below. I want you to put an addition way to find 54. So this is on number 3, and B, make sure you do not repeat any of the comments that are ahead of you. So give me an addition way to find 54.